get ready to delve into the land of weight, including both body fat and muscle mass in The Sims 4, as through a range of experiments, we're about to find out exactly how it all works. And it might not be how you think. Now, in order to get started, I needed experiment subjects. So I made Abby, with the fabulously wealthy aspiration and the creative, neat and good traits. I knew that she would be a rather neutral test subject, but one subject wasn't enough. And so after gifting Abby an upgraded cloning machine, I decided, Abby, it's time to duplicate. Many times, until we had 5 Sims. Some of the clones turned out, well, evil, with traits like being erratic, mean, and literally evil. But I didn't think that those traits would impact on the experiment, so they could stay. Now my 5 Sims were transported, 4 of them being Abby, Michaela, Evil Lindsay, and Phoenix, all became test subjects and were each assigned an experiment room. In each room, there's a little bit of space to hang out and a smaller sub-room with some exercise equipment. While it's locked for now, we will look at it later. And what happened to the 5th Sim, you ask? Well, Evil Jessica was popped into the clinical kitchen, where she will be doing evil things, like cooking. Okay, not that evil, but anyway. Now, just before we jump into the experiments, it's worth noting that all of our incredible test subjects' muscle mass and body fat is set to the middle of the slider. Now, the first test is to find out if and by how much does the type of food that a Sim eats impact on how much weight they gain. For this test, Evil Jessica got to work in the kitchen. She made a full serving of a garden salad, as well as mac and cheese, eggs and toast, and finally a scrumptious chocolate cake. I then delivered the dishes to each of the test Sims before cheating to make all of their hunger bars full. It was then that an all-out eating contest began, both without the contest and without the prizes, with the Sims eating all 8 servings of their respective dishes back to back. The results? Well, our evil chef Jessica was our control. As she hadn't eaten anything, her weight had remained the same. Then there was Abby, who had just been eating salad and had gained a tiny, almost unnoticeable amount of weight. Michaela, who had been eating mac and cheese, gained a little bit more weight than Abby, and Lindsay, who had been eating eggs and toast, seemed to have gained a similar amount of weight as Michaela. Finally, there was Phoenix, who had been eating chocolate cake and who had gained the most out of all the Sims. In short, the experiment revealed that various food dishes impact weight gain by a different amount, with foods that you'd expect to make your Sim gain more weight, such as cake, actually making them gain more weight. It was now time for the second test, which was to find out if Sims only gain weight if they eat when their hunger bar is full. Now, as chocolate cake makes Sims gain a lot of weight, that was to be one of my foods. But because it's kind of a junk food, I also wanted to test a more standard food as well, and for this I settled on mac and cheese. Evil Jessica got back to work in the kitchen, making 2 group servings of mac and cheese and 2 chocolate cakes. I then had 2 Sims act as a control by having them eat all 8 servings of the dish in a row while their hunger was full to show how much weight would be gained. Michaela, who ate the mac and cheese, gained a little bit of weight, while Phoenix, who ate the chocolate cake, gained even more weight. It was then time to have other Sims, Abby and Lindsay, eat the exact same amount of food, but without ever letting their hunger bar become full. This is why the servings were popped into bakery display cases, in order to make them go off much slower, though admittedly I still needed to top up Abby with some mac and cheese servings after it went bad. To my surprise, despite both Abby and Lindsay not having had their hunger bar full, they both gained the same amount of weight when compared to Sims that did. I decided I wanted to do one more test to be certain, but this time with something obviously healthy. That's right, garden salad. Evil Jessica got back to work in chaotic style, before I conducted the same experiment but with salad. The outcome was once again the same, with the Sim who ate the 8 servings of salad while completely full gaining a little bit of weight, and the Sim eating the 8 servings without filling their hunger bar also gained the same little bit of weight. It revealed that it doesn't matter how full a Sim's hunger bar is when they eat, they will gain weight. but some dishes will make Sims gain much more weight than others. I also noticed during this test that various dishes fill up a Sim's hunger need to different extents. For example, despite making a Sim gain the most weight, chocolate cake filled up a Sim's hunger need less than both mac and cheese and a garden salad. I had Sims lower their hunger to the same amount and then eat a slice of chocolate cake, a serving of mac and cheese, and a garden salad, so you can see the different effect they had on filling a Sim's hunger need. Now to look at weight loss with our next experiment, which is to find out whether starving a Sim actually sees them lose any weight. For this, I made a Sim gain lots of weight by eating Weight of the World ice cream, and then checked out how they looked in Create a Sim, with the body fat slider being pretty much maxed. After this, I left them to become very, very hungry, like minutes within dying from starvation kind of hungry. The conclusion, they didn't lose any weight from their near-death experience, so it's definitely never worth starving your Sims if you're looking to make them lose weight. So then how does a Sim lose weight? Or rather, we should call it body fat. Well, exercise. But are all exercises equal? It's time to find out, and see both how various exercises impact on a Sim's body fat and on their muscle mass. For this experiment, I fed all of my test Sims 3 servings of Weight of the World ice cream to increase their body fat. Then I removed all food and made each of the Sims do 12 hours of exercising in different forms, to see how each would impact on both their body fat and on their muscle mass. First up, there was Abby, who had been on the treadmill, and she had lost a lot of body fat, and it was almost back down to her starting weight before eating the Weight of the World ice creams. But her muscle mass hadn't changed at all, meaning that running on the treadmill will see a Sim lose body fat only. Then we had Michaela, who had been lifting weights, and Michaela hadn't lost any weight, but she'd gained lots of muscle. And in fact, her muscle slider was completely full, meaning that lifting weights will just increase your Sim's muscle mass and won't impact on their body fat. Lindsay, who had been boxing, had gained a bit of muscle, but not as much muscle as the Sim who'd been lifting weights. I also don't think she lost much body fat, if any, meaning that from what I could tell, boxing was like a less effective version of weightlifting. Then we had Phoenix, who had been practicing yoga, which comes with the Spa Day game pack. Phoenix had both gained quite a bit of muscle and also lost quite a bit of body fat. She hadn't lost as much as our treadmill running Sim, but it was still substantial. I decided that I wanted to test more workout methods, and so I exited and then prepared for a second round of the experiment. This time Abby played basketball, which is from the City Living expansion pack. Surprisingly, she didn't really seem to lose any body fat and only gained a little bit of muscle mass. Then there was Michaela, who had been sparring with the combat machine from the Strangeville game pack. She had gained quite a bit of muscle tone while also losing a little bit of body fat. Moving on to Lindsay, who had been rock climbing with the gigantic machine from the fitness stuff pack. She too had lost a decent amount of body fat, and interestingly, her muscle tone had maxed out the bar, making rock climbing a great way to gain muscle and stay relatively fit. Finally, there was Phoenix, who had been juggling with a soccer ball from the Discover University expansion pack. It is amazing what soccer can do, because her body fat went all the way back down to her starting body fat before eating the ice creams, and on top of this, her muscle tone had completely maxed out. Dare I say, making juggling a soccer ball the best way to max your Sim's muscle tone and lose body fat in one go. If I'm honest, I was kind of shocked by the soccer juggling results, so I actually repeated this test thinking that maybe I had messed up somehow, but the results were replicated perfectly, and so I'm pretty confident in juggling a soccer ball being the best way to lose body fat and increase muscle tone at the same time. Overall, different exercises increase muscle mass and lower body fat at different rates. Running on the treadmill is ideal if you just want to lose body fat, lifting weights is ideal if you just want to gain muscle mass, and juggling a soccer ball is the go-to for doing both of these at the same time. It's worth noting that if your Sim doesn't work out for a long period of time, then they will gradually lose muscle tone. However, note that this is a rather slow process. And with that, we're at the end. That's an investigative look into how both weight, including both body fat and muscle tone, works in The Sims 4. If you enjoyed or found this helpful, then please subscribe and leave a like. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing day. See you later!